Okay, so Digimon Story Time Stranger is less than a month away, and as some of you might already know, I did get a chance to play a few hours of the game early and have with me pretty exclusive video footage of that playtest that only a small handful of people were able to receive. That being said, leading up to the release, I'm planning on putting out a bunch of Digimon Story Time Stranger content on the various mechanics present within the game, using from what I've learned while playing. When the game fully releases, I will likely create more in-depth versions of a lot of these breakdowns. However, one of the most fundamental aspects of Digimon is their ability to digivolve into a plethora of different forms. This is the perfect video for someone who hasn't played a Digimon story game before, for those that are newcomers to the franchise, or for those that maybe watched Digimon as kids but are looking to dive back in. In today's video, we're going to be going over the different stages of evolution in English, what Digivolution is and how it works, and some of the non-conventional forms of Digivolution. That said, make sure to sit back, relax, subscribe for more, and let's dive in. Okay, so let's start things off with the basic stages of a Digimon. Each Digimon can be categorized into one of the following: Baby or In Training 1, In Training 2, Rookie, Champion, Ultimate, and Mega. There are other special stages which we will talk about in a bit, but these are the basics that most Digimon will fit into. Let's use a Digimon everyone knows, Agumon. Bodemon is the Baby or In Training stage, which then evolves into Koromon, which is the In Training 2 stage, then the Rookie, Agumon, followed by Greymon, its Champion stage, then the Ultimate stage, Metal Greymon, and finally War Greymon, the Mega stage. If you watched the original Adventure series back in the 90s, you might think this is how Digivolution works, just a linear system with 6 stages, but that's not true whatsoever. Though sparse in the first series, we do get a look at branched evolutions that are actually a staple of Digimon. For example, Greymon evolves into Skull Greymon, an alternate ultimate form due to certain circumstances being present, and this is sort of how it works. Your evolution path will be determined by various factors. In truth, and very prominent in the video games especially, Digimon have multiple possible evolution paths based on different factors like level, stats, friendship, and more. Some different Digimon can evolve into the same Digimon form, like Growlmon and Greymon both being able to turn into Metal Greymon, at least in the Cyber Sleuth games, for example. There are also different types of special Digivolution. In fact, there are a ton of different types of this across various media, but we're going to be keeping this pretty general and Digimon story centric. There's basically item-based evolution, where a certain item is required to be possessed by the player to activate. You guys might remember Armor Digivolution from the second season of the Adventure anime, which in Digimon story games turn Digimon into the Armor stage, which is a separate category from the previous In Trainings up to Mega that I listed earlier. You can also use items like the Beast and Human Spirits to evolve certain Digimon as well. These items are not consumed during the process and just need to be obtained once, at least in Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's memory. We know that these Armor and Spirit Digimon are in Time Stranger, but I haven't had the chance to interact with the item itself, but I'm assuming it's the same. Finally, we have DNA Digivolution, which usually requires 2 Digimon with max friendship to activate. It consumes one of 2 Digimon permanently and creates a new Digimon from them. For example, fusing XVmon with Stingmon can give you Pyildramon, or the cooler Dinobemon. Now, some of you might remember Omnimon from the original Digimon movie, or Omegamon if you're a purist. And yes, he's a DNA Digivolution of 2 Mega Digimon, which in this case created what's called an Ultra Stage Digimon, which is a very rare stage reserved for a very few selection of Digimon. This isn't always what happens when DNA Digivolution happens, however. Again, Pyildramon and Dinobemon are ultimate stages, coming from 2 champions, and DNA Digivolution isn't even required to get an Ultra stage. For example, Diaboromon can digivolve to Armageddonmon, which in the Cyber Sleuth games at least is denoted as being an Ultra, though in some media it's just considered a Mega. Some Mega Digimon can digivolve into other Megas, like Hercules Kabuterimon evolving into Tyrant Kabuterimon. So to sum it up, there are 6 main stages of Digimon, each escalating in power from In Training 1 to 2, then Rookie, Champion, Ultimate, Mega, and a very rarely exhibited 7th Ultra stage. There are also some Digimon that evolve with items, like those that belong to the Armor category, which is a separate stage. And there's also Digimon that can fuse using DNA Digivolution, but this will consume one of the Digimon in question. Every type of Digimon still requires parameters to be met, which will be displayed in the evolution menu of whichever game you're playing, and Digimon can evolve into a plethora of different branching paths, some of which intertwine with one another. One major difference between Digivolution in Time Stranger and Cyber Sleuth is that instead of a Digimon's level meeting a requirement, it's now the actual agent rank. So it looks like you won't be able to grind to get super high stage Digimon early on. There's also the talent stat that used to be called ABI, or ability, in Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. This will basically raise as you digivolve and de-digivolve your Digimon. Some Digimon will require a higher talent stat in order to be obtained. These are generally more powerful ones, but I didn't get a lot of time to experiment with any evolutions that require talent during my playtest. So yeah, a little more complicated than traditional monster taming, but not too crazy once you really dive into it. Make sure to stay tuned for more Digimon Story Time Stranger breakdown videos leading up to launch, all of which will contain that juicy playtest footage. I got a lot of it, so I plan on making the most of it. Once the game is fully out and a lot more research is done, we will be able to talk more about the exact effects of de-digivolving and how to min-max and all that stuff. However, the goal of this video, as stated previously, is just to act as an introduction for new players and those that already know how Digivolution works, but get a little bit of insight with the differences in Time Stranger and some new footage to go alongside it. I've got a lot more videos planned and more Time Stranger to talk about, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date, and just wanted to say special thanks to my supporters, especially Candy Morency, Tragsoft, Valorware, Nemo, and Wrathful Beast, and we'll see you next time. Peace.